Hello, my friends, and welcome to the 2020 Global Read Aloud. It is Mr. Sarlo, and we are reading the book Planet Omar Accidental Trouble Magnet by Zanib Mian. Today we're going to be reading chapter 18. And to quickly summarize what happened in chapter 17, Omar told us about a couple of the holidays that are going to be coming up during Ramadan, which is the holiday that he and his family are celebrating. It's a Muslim holiday that they are celebrating. And then he was also discussing how things are going really well at school, and he seems to be making a lot of friends and playing with a lot of the kids. But Daniel has still been a big problem for him at school, unfortunately. Okay? So, let's go ahead and read chapter 18. Have you ever gone on a school trip but never quite made it to where you were supposed to be going? If you haven't, you're lucky. Me? I seem to be a magnet for trouble. So that's like the title of the book, right? My class was supposed to be going to the Science Museum. My parents were obviously extremely excited about this. The Science Museum had a new section called the Wonder Lab, which Mom and Dad took us to see as soon as it opened. But it was super cool, so I didn't mind going again. Especially because they have these slides made out of different materials to teach you about friction, and one of them is really fast. So fast that I almost peed myself laughing the first time I went on it. We were put into groups of 6 for the trip. A teaching assistant or a parent was in charge of each group. I could tell Mrs. Hutchinson was stressed that morning because some curls from her hair were looking pretty and in place, and others were sticking out in funny directions, completely ignoring gravity. I listened as she read out names for the groups. My heart was thudding in my chest. I had my fingers crossed under the table because I really didn't want to be in Daniel's group. I knew I wasn't supposed to believe in crossing fingers, but I was trying anything. It was only later that I realized I didn't even ask Allah not to put me in Daniel's group. My mom said that if I had, Allah might have put me in a different group, or he might have even still put me in Daniel's group because he works in mysterious ways. As you probably guessed, I was put in a group with Daniel, and Charlie was in a whole different group. Ouch. When our names were announced, Daniel looked over at me and snarled. The worst part was that it wasn't even a teacher in charge of our group. It was just another kid's parent. And she had no idea which kids were troublemakers and which were not. Charlie came up to me and said, "Don't worry, okay? We can still look at things together in the museum, okay?" I said, "Okay, too." I was feeling too miserable to say anything else. To get to the museum, we had to go on the London Underground. It was going pretty all right until we tried to change trains. Daniel was like a lion waiting to pounce. As soon as we switched platforms in the rush of people, he took hold of the belt on my pants and jerked me back. "Your girlfriend Charlie can't save you now," he barked. Have you ever wanted to laugh in a horrible situation? I don't know why, but I cracked up laughing, even though I was probably about to get hit by the worst bully I'd ever met. It was a weird kind of not real laugh, though, and it just seemed to make Daniel more furious. "Oh, so you think it's funny, do you, teacher's pet?" People in dark suits and fancy shoes are walking past us as if nothing out of the ordinary was going on. "Our group, the class, will get left behind," I finally managed to squeak. Daniel looked over and saw what I saw. A crowd of busy-looking people exiting the platform, but nobody from our school. He seemed to freeze. Then, just a few seconds later, we were the only 2 people left. What happened next was completely astonishing. Daniel started wailing like a baby. "Wah! We're lost! We're gonna die!" I realized that I was going to have to handle this situation and take care of the big crying bully baby in front of me, even though Daniel was making me want to cry too. I had been on the London Underground with my parents millions of times, but never on my own. It looked different now that I was on my own. It looked bigger, noisier, darker, scarier, and it smelled like pee. No, wait, that was Daniel. He had peed himself. Okay, so they're going on this trip. The London Underground, I think, is like their subway station, right? So it's like they're taking the train to their field trip, and Daniel grabbed Omar to try and, he was going to like bully him or hit him or do something. But while he was doing that, Omar and Daniel lost their class. Okay, so they're completely lost. They're in a busy train station all by themselves, and Daniel got really, really scared. Okay, so he had an accident, and we're gonna have to read on to find what happens with Daniel and Omar if they find their way out of there. All right, I will see you guys later for chapter 19, which will be next. Bye.